Parker Schnabel's life is in serious danger after something terrible shook his world. The Gold Rush star has faced countless risks, but this time, the stakes are higher than ever. Known for his fearless attitude and smart decisions, Parker always seemed to overcome every obstacle. Will Parker survive this life-threatening situation? Let's dive deep into the matter and uncover some hidden information the showrunner doesn't want anyone to know. When everything went wrong, recently, Parker's gold mining career took a harrowing turn. What was once just another day on the job quickly spiraled into a nightmare. For the first time in his life, Parker faced a situation that wasn't just about gold or profit, it was about survival. Something went terribly wrong, and suddenly, the fearless gold miner found himself in a battle for his life. Before we dive into the shocking details, it's clear this incident is far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined. And what happened next will leave you absolutely stunned. This piece delves into the details of the near-tragic event that almost cost Parker Schnabel everything, how it unfolded and what it means for his future. We will also look back on the long, often dangerous path that brought Parker to where he is today, shedding light on how the recent accident has changed him forever. Parker Schnabel's story begins in the rugged, remote wilderness of Haines, Alaska. Born on July 22, 1994, Parker grew up surrounded by the beauty and harshness of the Alaskan landscape. His family had deep roots in the world of gold mining. His grandfather, John Schnabel, was a well-known gold miner who owned the Big Nugget mine. And from a young age, Parker was inspired by his grandfather's stories and work. While other kids might have been playing video games or hanging out with friends, Parker spent much of his childhood on mining sites, learning the ropes. He admired his grandfather's work ethic and passion for gold mining, and by the time Parker was a teenager, he was already hooked. His fascination with the industry and his desire to prove himself led him to take on more and more responsibility. At just 16 years old, Parker was already leading a mining crew, and he didn't waste any time showing the world what he was made of. Despite his age, he proved to be a natural leader. His ability to handle pressure, make smart decisions, and stay focused on his goals set him apart. He wasn't just another kid playing around with heavy machinery, he was a serious contender in the world of gold mining, earning respect from those around him. Parker's breakout moment came when he joined the cast of Gold Rush, the reality TV show that follows miners as they dig for gold in some of the most treacherous and unpredictable environments on the planet. Viewers were instantly captivated by his determination and drive, as well as his willingness to take big risks in pursuit of even bigger rewards. But while Parker was ambitious and driven, gold mining is a profession fraught with danger, and he quickly learned that it wasn't always going to be easy. Over the years, fans have watched Parker grow from an eager teenager to a veteran miner. He has faced enormous challenges, from mechanical failures to brutal weather conditions and even the loss of his beloved grandfather. But no matter what obstacles came his way, Parker always found a way to push through and come out on top. His grit and determination became the hallmark of his mining career, and he consistently set higher goals for himself each season. However, while Parker may have developed a reputation for being fearless, even the most experienced miners can be caught off guard by the unpredictable dangers that lurk in the world of gold mining. This season, those dangers came crashing down in the form of a catastrophic incident that changed everything for Parker Schnabel. The life of a gold miner is never predictable. Each season, the stakes seem to get higher, and the risks become more daunting. In recent years, Parker Schnabel has taken on more ambitious goals than ever before, determined to expand his operations and claim even more gold from the earth. But with that ambition comes an increased level of danger. The latest season of Gold Rush was shaping up to be one of Parker's most intense yet. Not only was he facing fierce competition from other miners, but he was also battling the unpredictable elements of the wild terrain. Parker had set his sights on new ground, but this land was particularly challenging. The remoteness of the site, combined with the harsh weather conditions, made every day a battle. It was a perfect storm of obstacles, and Parker's determination to succeed was put to the ultimate test. Parker's near miss left him shaken, but the tough times ahead would push him even harder, trapped in deadly collapse. From the very beginning of the season, Parker's stress levels were noticeably higher than in previous years. He was managing multiple crews, dealing with heavy machinery that was constantly at risk of breaking down, and racing against the clock to meet his lofty production goals. His workday stretched into long, exhausting hours, and the constant pressure was beginning to take a toll on his mental and physical well-being. But in typical Parker fashion, he refused to back down. He was determined to prove that he could overcome any obstacle, no matter how difficult or dangerous. But while Parker's drive and ambition have always been his greatest strengths, they may have also been his downfall. As the season wore on, it became clear that the conditions were becoming increasingly hazardous. The ground was unstable, the weather unpredictable, and the equipment strained from constant use. For Parker, the risks were nothing new, but this season felt different. It was as though everything was teetering on the edge, and then, without warning, disaster struck. It was a day that started out like any other for Parker Schnabel and his crew. They were hard at work on a new section of the mining site, focusing on extracting a promising vein of gold-rich ground. The weather had been rough in the days leading up to this, with heavy rains making the terrain even more difficult to navigate. But despite the challenges, Parker was confident that they were on the verge of hitting a major payday. The crew was spread out across the site, operating their massive machines, digging and moving dirt. Parker was overseeing the operation, as he always does, ensuring that everything was running smoothly. But then, without any warning, disaster struck. A large section of the ground they were working on suddenly collapsed. The heavy rains had weakened the foundation, and in an instant, the terrain gave way. The collapse created a dangerous situation, trapping several members of the crew, including Parker, in an area that was rapidly becoming a death trap. The noise was deafening, the sound of machinery being crushed under the weight of the falling earth, the shouting of crew members scrambling to escape, and the rumble of the ground shifting beneath them. Parker found himself in a life-threatening situation. His vehicle had been hit by the collapse, causing it to flip and become partially buried. For a brief, terrifying moment, Parker was trapped, unable to move as the ground continued to give way around him. The dust and debris in the air made it hard to see, and the panic that spread through the crew was palpable. They knew they had to act fast if they were going to save Parker and the others. Rescue efforts began immediately, but the situation was far from simple. The collapse had created an unstable environment, and any wrong move could trigger more landslides. The crew had to work carefully, balancing the need to rescue their friends with the risk of making the situation worse. Every second felt like an eternity as they worked against the clock, knowing that any delay could mean the difference between life and death. 4 hours, Parker Schnabel and his crew were trapped in the wreckage, their fate uncertain. The rescue team had to proceed with extreme caution, navigating the treacherous terrain and ensuring that they didn't cause any additional collapses. The conditions were unstable,